Hello and welcome back. It's time for Chit Chat with Two Teas. As usual, I am your host and counseling psychologist, JL Valdez. And with me today, we have the effervescent, the ever beautiful. I mean, there's so many adjectives and we're going to get into that later on. But I would also describe her as my longtime friend, Mrs. Tshenelle Bethel-Peters. Yay! Welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen her in real life. You know, with the advent of social media, we feel like we see people all the time, but we really don't. And it's literally been years. So we go all the way back to UE.
All the way back.
Right? To Catholic Students Movement, pick up CSM.
Pick up CSM.
Right? And all these shenanigans that ensue with that. Right? Tobago trips. We won't talk about all of those things here. Right? But it's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me though.
Yes, I'm excited. And I'm also excited because I would describe you as a multi-hyphenate, okay? Because you do a lot.
I do.
So could you please tell the people about the things that you do?
Oh gosh, I think probably at this point in time it's a list of things I don't do.
That sounds accurate.
So in my full-time life, I'm a digital content specialist.
Okay.
In my not so full-time life, it's literally a hodgepodge of everything between content creation, web development, and a few other things in between.
I want to feel like that's not what you did in UE.
I did communication studies in
Close enough.
UE.
Close enough. Okay. All right.
I'm a digital content creator off of my main job.
Right.
I model. I do I do voice work from time to time.
You'll hear the radio voice.
Oh, good.
All right.
God.
Yes.
What else do I do? I do a little bit of acting. Nothing too major.
In the theater?
Not so much theater, but I've done like a docu-series. I wouldn't even say it's a docu-series. I would say it was a mini-series of sorts for a furniture distributor. It was quite fun. It's quite fun.
Hello.
And what else do I do? Honestly, at this point, a little bit of everything.
This is it. You were right. Like maybe the list of things you don't do may have been shorter. Yeah,
possible.
But that's what happened when you're talented. When God was giving out talent, she sister. Big up you, Shanice Bethel of Dance Star. They rushed in front of the line. That's how they are. They rushed in front of the line. So
I think more like she rushed and I got dragged along.
that sounds more accurate. So we are here. If you are hearing the birds and you're seeing this beautiful scenery, and you know, we are at SerendipiTea, right? Tea house, and I think it is coffee house, all of the above. It's a wonderful establishment on Scott Street in St. Augustine. And yeah, we travel a little far today, right? But you know, everything that is good, you have to get there. You have to work towards it. And it's worth waiting for. So we've waited a little while and we're here, right? So we'll share with you what's going on here at SerendipiTea a little bit later. But now the focus is on Tshenelle. All right? So Tshenelle.
Pause. Perfect. Love that pause. So Tshenelle, don't forget it.
We can resume?
All
right. So Tshenelle. With all the things that you have going on, and you know, we'll talk about that. Like, how are you? How are you doing today?
I am better.
Better is good.
I am better. I think that with life, it ebbs and it flows. So you're going to have those periods where things are good, and then you're going to have those periods where things are not so good.
Yeah.
So I think that mentally right now, I am better.
I like that. I like better. I think it's hopeful.
Yes.
It's hopeful because better means there's room for it to get even better. Good job. Look at you, dropping gems. I would like y'all to know that even though Tshenelle did not go to, you know, the HFC that really matters. She did go to our sister school, which is Vancouver.
Oh, we're going that way?
Yeah.
Are we going that way?
We're already here. And every season I do my best to have somebody repping that maroon, right? Some of us wore skirts, some of us wore entire overalls, but at the end of the day, we're still women in maroon. So, what house were you in?
Why?
I heard we have different names. Our houses.
Yeah, we have different.
But what color?
Red.
Oh my gosh! You see, I was also in red. right? So I think it's
There's a story.
It's Margaret,
St. Margaret's.
right?
There's a
St. Margaret.
story
Yeah,
behind
Maria Goretti.
Yeah, there's a story behind
What's
that.
the story?
So the story is our older sister, Shahai,
Mhm.
went to Holy Faith Couva as well.
No, it's literally like 15 of them. I just want to let you know the belt van is large.
It's just 8 of us.
Because that's very far from 15. Yes.
When Shahai went to Holy Faith Couva, she was put in St. Margaret's.
Right.
So by the time she would have left and I would have started, they were like, okay, Bethel, not the most common of surnames.
Right.
St. Margaret's. And then when Shanice passed for Holy Faith, if I remember correctly, my mother said, I'm not coming to sports day and chair for 2 different houses. So of course, Shanice ended up in St. Margaret's.
So if you know Shanice and Tshenelle, they have a boldness about them that definitely has come from their parents somewhere. So yeah. Big up to you, Mr. and Mrs. Bethel. Thank you for your babies. We appreciate them. And you.
You know, it's so weird hearing you say Tshenelle because in my social media, I go by Nelly.
Yes. So she's Nelly B.
Yes.
Right? And Shanice is Nisi B. So
She probably just does that on Facebook.
yeah, it's just her name. It's just her handle. But yeah.
For me, I think I wanted a separation of Tshenelle Bethel-Peters and Nelly B. And I mean, like, you can't always separate it.
Yeah, because it's part of you, right?
Yes. But I think for like my content creation spaces, because Nelly B started off when I actually started plus size modeling, it would have been like 10 years ago.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so there was an agency in San Fernando who were basically looking for plus size models. And I probably would have seen the ad or something along those lines. And I went and I was like, okay. And they were like, well, you're short.
Big up to all these short people. We make the world run.
My girlfriend says I'm fun size, so I will stick
we
with
are fun size. Yeah.
And then they're like, you're actually on the slimmer end of what they consider plus
size.
They're like, but we like your spunk and you're in. So I was with them for a few years. Injury, I had 2 injuries happen within months of each other. A kickboxing injury and then I'm clumsy injury that...
Well, because you kickbox, but you're clumsy.
Listen, I'm an oxymoron.
Okay.
To say the least.
I mean, this is it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I gave up my heels because the girl could have worn 6-inch heels because I had to be tall.
Yes.
Had to be.
Yeah.
So could rock 6-inch heels sleeping. And I gave that up and started focusing on other things.
Okay.
And that is where like I kept the Nelly B name, and it just transitioned into the content creation side of things. That started off with me going back natural. I had texturized my hair in my mid-20s. That lasted a little over a year. And then I started to transition back to natural hair. Same way I started to transition out of the relationship I was in at the time, but that's a story for another day.
Ooh, I sense a part 2 coming to this interview. Yes.
So then I went back natural and my content creation started with YouTube because at the time, you weren't really seeing that many trainees on YouTube doing like natural hair stuff. And then I created my blog a couple months after, and then Instagram became a thing. So I was on there.
Yes, folks, we were here before Instagram.
We were here before Instagram. We were here before Facebook was an app.
We were here before Facebook was an app. Oh my gosh.
Wait, we were here before Facebook? Good. Okay, right. All right. Read it back. Yeah, and while I started to, dive into Instagram and social media and stuff like that, it wasn't until I got married that I really started to heavily use like my social media for content creation.
Yeah.
And I think part of that had to do with the fact that I moved out of Central, I moved onto the East Corridor.
Yeah.
I had more time because my commute became significantly shorter. And it was something that I kind of just, was like, you know what? Maybe I can do a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's where it started.
Why was it so important for you to tell that story in terms of the natural hair transition and then even to be like that face? Because a lot of people know you now in that realm? Why was that so important for you?
Because I think that when we are looking into the digital space, especially at that time, I couldn't see me. Yes, I saw Black women with natural hair and all that jazz, but products that may work in a temperate climate may not work in a Caribbean climate. And I was like, okay, where are the persons who could tell me, okay, this will work for me, you living in my climate, you dealing with this humidity, etc. So I was like, okay, if there's no one doing that, then I'll start doing it.
You fill the space.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it evolved, because to me representation matters. And sometimes when I think, question, do I want to continue along this road? God will just send somebody in my DM saying, keep up the good work, they love my content. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Now you can't stop.
Nope. I can't. I think I always have to remember my why.
What is your why?
My why is, there's several whys. My whys have evolved as my content evolved. So the original why was being that, that piece of, that source of representation for the Caribbean woman, for the Trinidadian woman, for Trimegonian woman, rather. And then it became, when I started really diving into local brands, because you love a local brand.
She is definitely one of those people who are like, support local.
Yes.
That's Tshenelle.
Big up to Coco Kirby for the earrings.
Hello.
Just put that out there.
Shaded clay for my earrings.
Love herself.
Yeah.
Love herself.
She's amazing.
Yes, she is. Yeah, and the perception that foreign automatically means better is something that has boiled my water, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I never will get to.
Transition. Yeah.
And I'm like, in my experience trying out local brands, we have so many amazing local brands of hair care, skincare, jewelry, fashion, and everything in between. So why not showcase that?
Yeah.
Because local needs love and local needs support and circular economy and,
Local needs love.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. So coming to our next segment. What boils your water?
Oh God.
Could you tell us about some of your pet peeves, especially in terms of the spaces that you are in?
Do I need to pull up a list?
I mean,
okay, now we'll do it off the top of my head. Okay, so let's talk about things that boil my water in the digital content creation space.
Yeah.
Let's start with
Here's Katoya, our person for today. When you come to Serendipity, don't be afraid to ask for her. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. So pretty. Thank you, Katoya.
I didn't realize it was a hot drink. This is awesome.
It's pretty. Sorry, we have to do this. We have to take these pictures now. And so Ricardo's gonna have content of us doing that.
Angles are everything.
I know. All right. Well, I don't really know. But I'm learning. So, okay, guys, you know what? Tell me about what boils your water, and then we're going to talk about what's in our cups.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
it smells so good.
It does.
Sorry.
Right. What boils my water in the digital content space? Well, there are a lot of things, but let me see if I can just name maybe 3.
Okay.
Okay, I think one of the things that boils my I'm saying boils my piss, boils my water. Sorry.
It's a weird thing to boil.
There's a story behind that.
You know what? I don't.
We'll share that on another day.
All right.
So, one of the things that boils my water in the digital content creation space is, and this is akin. Well, I'm not going to say it's akin to local brands specifically. It's not. Is how brands reach out to content creators and how content creators reach out to brands.
Okay.
A lot of it is very Vikey-vi. And I mean, I get it. You may not necessarily know how to go about it. But if you're looking to collaborate as a business, then you need to treat it as a business transaction. So you just messaging me, hey, I'll send you this. Or you as a content creator just reaching out to a brand or looking for promo deals or there is, I'm not saying that you have to put out a cover letter for a curriculum vitae, but you have to have some sort of whereabouts in terms of how you go about these things. If this is a brand that you're like cold calling or cold pitching, them don't know you from
Exactly.
don't. Introduce yourself.
Who are you?
Introduce yourself. What you do.
Yeah.
Express that you'd like to collaborate.
Yeah.
Why would you like to collaborate? And that goes both ways for both the brand and the content creator. One of the things that being in the digital space has allowed me to do, especially in the rapport that I've grown with a lot of local brands, is having access to their media.
Yeah.
The ins and outs of their digital media. And seeing how some aspiring content creators reach out to them. And then on the other hand, seeing how some brands reach out to creators.
Yeah.
It is
a little cringy.
A bit.
Yeah, a little cringy.
A bit. That's one thing that boils my water. Another thing that boils my water is persons not being open to accepting criticism.
Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah,
and the thing is, and I mean, for me personally, this is something that I've had to work on myself when it comes to certain things.
I think all of us to some extent, that's something we have to,
So for example, you're working with a brand, you're creating content with this brand. The brand may come back and say that, okay, they may just need you to do one other little thing, or they would like to see the content before it is posted out. And I've seen persons have an issue with this. And then on the flip side, I've seen where brands ask you for your honest
feedback.
Opinion. And it's not like if you're going to be trashing the brand. But if something did not work for you, now, just because of any natural hair came, just because something didn't work for you, doesn't mean it's not going to work for someone else.
Exactly.
But you asked me for my honest opinion.
So which is what you have to give.
Which is what I have. Listen.
Have to, will, whether you ask.
That have to, folks, can be a bit iffy. Because you have creators who... Okay, so how do I explain this? And I mean, I've done it. When I say I've done it, meaning... You have persons who, okay, it's like UGC content where you're just showing the product, etc., telling the product. It's not like a review. Then you have reviews. And I think that a lot of brands say that they want you to review the products when they really just want you to create user-generated content style stuff for them. And all of these things, listen, I have thought about doing a class on things like this.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you should. And this is the breath. You see, take it. You see?
No, because I mean, again, I'm not perfect. I've made my fair share of mistakes because I've been creating content for as long as the hubs and I have been dating, which is over a decade, 18 years, right? So
do you have enough fingers to count?
I'll add the 3 if you put up the 10. And I've had my fair share of mistakes. In some cases, I was offered grace. In some cases, I wasn't. And it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, you live and you learn from that. But if I could put information out there that could prevent persons from making some of the mistakes that I did, I would absolutely.
I think that's what we're called to do in general, right? Is there anything else?
There
you said 3.
Okay, so we did 2.
And it could be in general. It doesn't just have to be about that.
One of the things I think as a content creator, especially as a non-traditional content creator, let me tell you what I mean by non-traditional. Not non-traditional. That's not the word. Non-conventional.
I like that.
Right? So, like I told someone, like way back when, I said, I is not an IG hot girl.
I is not an IG hot girl. Very good that you're not, Ricardo.
That would be a bit concerning if you were, but we digress. Meaning, I am not the petite, curvy. I am not the prettiest. I am not the youngest, because I mean I will be 40 this year.
Oh
right?
my goodness.
So no, I have no qualms. Some women fuss about the age.
No,
I'm
just it's wild to me because we were in school last week, so I don't understand.
Sis, we is old.
Jesus. All right, keep it moving. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not out there in terms of like the type of hot gal clothing and all that different jazz and whatnot, right? And if it's an IG hot gal, cool beans. You do you, sister. But a lot of them want to transition into content creation, which is good. That's great. You want to use your platform, but you have to bear in mind the followership that you have. And how well that is going to be translating into the content that you create. So I'll give you an example. I was helping a brand with their social media, and they had someone reach out to them who wanted to do promos for them. And I looked at her socials, and she's a IG baddie, whatnot. She was cute. She was, don't get me wrong, sis was cute, body was
banging.
Body was good. I was like, I need to message you for tips, but I digress. I asked her to send her follower count by age, by sex, by location. And she probably had about 15 or 16,000 followers at the time, which is a decent following. But 86.4% of it were men. And you are reaching out to a natural hair care brand whose primary target audience is women.
It's not going to follow. Yeah.
So I think what gets me is trying to leverage your audience when your audience is not the ideal audience for the brands that you are trying to reach out to. So that, I wouldn't say it's not boil my water level, but it concerns me a bit because a lot of content creators aren't looking at these things. Again, that boils down to the class that I probably should.
It's happening, guys. Look out for Tshenelle's class on content creation 101, fundamentals of content creation, principles of content creation. Like, just it's gonna happen, right? So yes, take a sip because now we're gonna talk about this amazing. All right. You know what's in a yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm coming. I'm coming to join you. So we're gonna talk about it. So guys, we are at Serendipity, as I mentioned, right? Where good things come together. That's the motto. I like it. It's very cute because we are good things and we are coming together. So we're actually recording. Today is Valentine's, right? And they have special drinks today. And we are trying the Velvet Love Elixir, which is notes of chai, lavender, English white chocolate toffee, and rooibos flower tea. Hope I pronounce that right. Rooibos. Yes. Right? So it's very pretty. Right, Ricardo? Well, I'm sure you're gonna put a nice little visual of that there for you all to see, and I'm gonna taste it and see if I make the same face that you not.
Did you get the visual of the tea, Ricardo? Because this is gonna be gone.
Oh my god! It is great. It's fantastic.
This is lovely.
How do I not drink it down all at once?
Don't scarf it down, according to what my husband says. And I'm like literally slopping down some food.
This do like
Scarf it down.
You guys may not be able to get this because by the time this airs, these drinks may be off the menu, but they have amazing other drinks. It's great. So come on up to Serendipity, Scott Street, St. Augustine. So that's what's literally in our cups because we wanted to try something different.
Oh yeah.
And it's great. What's figuratively in your cup? What's going on with you?
Figuratively in my cup. It's a case of balance. Finding balance. Finding balance in my main job versus in the content creation space, because the content creation space has evolved for me, especially within the last, I would say, 3 to 4 months, because it's not just about creating my own content. I've had significant collaboration deals. I've also had significant content deals in terms of where I am acting talent, like I said, furniture distribution.
Talent.
Yeah, so it is really just trying to find the time to do everything.
All those years in SM and production paying off.
Listen.
Paying off. Now she's acting talent.
Screams.
That's amazing.
Screams. It was supposed to be like a one-off thing,
Yeah.
and apparently everyone loved the voice, and I've been
voice-
doing work
voice
with
is
them.
giving.
since.
The voice is giving. Yeah. Wow. So that's amazing. How do you? Well, we have these connotations with balance, but how do you do your best to balance everything? Because you're also a wife. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And as we were discussing pre-recording, marriage is no joke.
Marriage is work. Marriage is, honestly, it is beautiful work.
Oh, I love that.
Just beautiful.
Marriage is
work.
beautiful work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it's not just about the feelings. Like
Yeah.
I said, St. Therese of Lisieux, love
Yeah.
is not measured by the intensity of the emotion, but by the firmness of the commitment.
Firmness of the commitment. The commitment has to be firm.
Yeah, because
Now you
listen,
watch your foot and jump in business.
don't let
Social
feelings
media?
fool, not just social media, but don't let your feelings fool you.
Yeah.
Love is all well and good,
Mm-hmm.
but not every day you're going to like your partner. You're
Yeah.
going to have those periods of time where you're going to clash.
Yeah.
Conflict is going to happen. It could be major issues. It could be the kitchen ain't clean.
Yeah.
And I say that because unlike other households, he's the one who's very anal about the kitchen.
Okay. Mhm.
That cannot see a dirty kitchen. He will lose his mind.
Yeah.
This person hates washing away, so we'll cook
There you go.
and have a dirty kitchen. And
Yeah.
you will clash over the biggest of issues and the
Yeah.
smallest of issues.
It's everything because it's life together.
Yes,
Mhm.
you have two persons from two different backgrounds
Yeah.
who brought up in two different household style,
Mm-hmm.
different ways that we were raised, different ethos when it comes to different things,
Yeah.
sometimes different beliefs, etc. And you're merging your life with this person. So of course you're
Yeah.
going to have clashes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you are committed to making things work,
Mm-hmm.
you put in the work.
Yeah.
And it can be rewarding in the most beautiful of ways.
Beautiful work.
That's why when you see this, I love you. Don't check the bank account.
Don't check the bank account, which means she probably did something she wasn't supposed to do. But big up to you, Mr. Peters. Right? Thank you for all that you do in ensuring we get to benefit from all of this.
Listen,
So thank you.
you will know, like my friend said this recently, that you will know, what was it? I want to make sure I'm quoting her right. You can tell how much a woman is loved when you see her. Like, a woman who's loved correctly.
Yeah.
There's a
That
glow
part.
about, there's a glow about them. There's an energy about them.
Mhm.
And I mean, nobody's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but that husband of mine, I am loved, I am cared for, to complain would be to stop
Not
it.
us scared up.
Screw.
Not us
No, I
scared
mean,
up.
to complain would be to complain about little things.
Yeah.
We have, don't get me wrong, we have issues like anybody else does, but
Yeah.
oh gosh, song playing.
What's this one playing?
Listen.
Oh.
Big tune.
Is it the Lauren version? Because that's the only version.
That, no, it's the original version.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but all that to say, I thank God every day for him.
Yeah.
I thank God.
Attitude is a must.
Always. I
Yeah.
thank God every day that he decided to poke me on Facebook. What was that?
We don't even have folks on Facebook anymore, guys.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thank God that I had the audacity to slide up in his DMs.
Hello.
Yeah, and I am, grateful that I get to spend my life with him.
That is beautiful. How does your faith play a role in your marriage?
Oh gosh,
I know you're a very faithful and faith-filled person.
God, that is faithful. That my faith has been a journey in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Again, ebbs and flows, and the walk with Jesus, not easy.
It's easy. It's not
not
for the faint.
easy.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, it's not. And even in your marriage too, I think that he and I, we, try our best to keep God as focus in our marriage.
Yeah.
And I think that faith, that commitment helps a lot with all the battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of times it isn't us battling against each other when it needs to really be us together battling our problem.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I had to learn.
Yeah.
Because while I'm not the most combative person, sometimes I would find myself being combative towards him.
Right.
And realizing that the issue isn't us against each other. It's us against the issue.
Yeah.
And we're able to work things through.
Yeah.
You know? It's
a lot. You learn a lot about yourself.
Listen. And then when you
In
have someone who holds you accountable.
That is super important.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people don't receive that well. Coming back to what we were saying earlier, but some people don't accept criticism. But I think it's important for everybody to grow. And if individuals are growing, then the unit can grow. You know, so that's a really beautiful thing. So how is your mental health?
My mental health is it's better.
It's better.
It's better. It is, you know, like I said, ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Some months are good, some months are not the best. But I'm in a period now where despite how hectic life is, mentally I'm better.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're dealing with right now that you feel like it's impacting your mental health, or like anything that has been helpful to you? Like you're managing so much. How do you even deal with your stress?
Sleep does.
Sleep is amazing.
Rest. Folks, listen to me well. Make time for rest. I kid you not. Rest resets you. And rest doesn't necessarily mean sleep.
No.
Rest means just being still.
Yeah.
Being still. Like for me, I decided in 2025, I decided this year. Unfortunately, it took me having a bit of a I'm not going to say a breakdown, but reaching a very critical point in my mental health to realize I need something to cope. I started back reading.
Great.
I joined a book club.
Yeah.
And I am loving it.
Book club is great.
Listen, shout out to Cindy, Book of Sins.
Big up you, Cindy.
Big up you. I've known Cindy for years. She's a Jamaican living in Trinidad.
Is she the person she travels a lot?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yes, I've seen her stuff.
Traveled with her, and we have this running.
Did you go to Dominica with?
I went to Dominica with her.
Okay, I think my friend went recently with her as well.
Yeah, so her reading retreat. I actually went with her to Dominica, and it was out of that time in Dominica that the reading retreat was born.
Oh.
So where she has the reading retreat in Dominica is where I had stayed with her, and she and the owners, who brilliant, lovely couple, had talk, because they're avid book readers as well. And through their conversations was how the reading retreat was born. And
we're going to have to talk to Cindy.
Yes, I definitely recommend. I need to go on a reading retreat. I plan to go on one.
Well, keep me posted. Let me know now. I like these things. I'm going to find out.
Bet.
But generally, you're better. And reading helps. Reading and sleep.
Reading, resting, and then nature. I ran away to Tobago for a couple of days.
Yes.
And Tobago was that girl.
Tobago is good for a reset.
The weather was, the beaches were, everything was just. And then we went to, my best friend always finds, she's the one who will find the activities that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Mind you, she don't even live in Trinidad anymore, but we went to Corbin's Local Wildlife in Mason Hall. Okay. They do a lot of conservation work. The owner, Mr. Corbin, he was a hunter turned conservationist. And they're working on restoring Tobago's biodiversity. Okay. So they get a lot of people like
Tobago? We have the Tobago episode, So
we they basically they have animals in their enclosures and stuff, but it's not that they capture them, they get animals, people who found this, whatever, surrender this animal for breeding purposes. They release them back into the wild. They're also working on organic farming, sustainable land management. So we just did the enclosure tour, where when was the last time you see a goatee? When was the last time you see a
that wasn't cooked? I can't tell you
exactly. So it's I know, seriously.
For this.
Wait, this cook good. I don't know if
Yeah,
cook
it's
good tea. I
yeah,
know this
they
cook
do.
manicu.
They cook good tea as well.
Oh, okay.
Good tea, lap, tattoo.
Well, right. The lap or tattoo is armadillo.
I think tattoo.
But yeah, so it's like, when last you've seen these things in a while? So they're working on getting the numbers back up to healthy levels.
That's good.
Yeah, and they're doing it with no kind of government funding.
That's amazing. It's even more amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, guys, we have causes because people always look for causes to contribute to.
Correct.
There are lots of causes if you just ask the question and if you watch Chit Chat with Two Teas. Yeah. So in terms of your experience as a plus size model, how was that in the local landscape?
Oh, that's layered. That is layered. Where do I start?
I feel like we kind of glossed over it before we just touched on it, but I mean, I always, from my vast experience of modeling from watching TV, of course, America's Next Top Model specifically, it's not an easy field to be in. Even those girls that, are the ideal, they face a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism. So how was it locally, especially with you being quote unquote non-conventional?
Oh, where do I start? Being made fun of. Like, we would go to fashion shows and you have regular models, even some designers, like, what I'm doing here type. Yeah, I've experienced that a lot.
Yeah.
You experience, I remember a situation where some designers, like, you had designers who only did plus. So we were thankfully they had plus models or whatever. Then you had some designers who were like, okay, we want to have like a couple plus sizes in our collection for the runway. That's great. Awesome. But yet on the night of the show, I didn't get to do that. Or it was literally like a
slapdash. You could tell no thought went into it.
Not even slapdash, like they didn't even bother to. So there were like girls who were only selected to model for those designers ended up like not modeling
because there was
nothing to wear. Wow. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how the runway scene is now. I can't really say in terms of plus size models locally. More what I do now would be like print, social media, stuff like that. And there's definitely more, opportunity there in terms of, openness. And
it's a bit more acceptance.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you say that that has been a more positive experience for you than the modeling itself?
Yeah, because I had stopped modeling for years. It wasn't until, when was that, boy? 2022, 2023? No, 2022, because I hadn't cut my hair off yet. That a friend of mine, Cameron, reached out to me
for the job.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Cameron, reached out to me and was like, there's this local clothing store who they were looking for a plus size model. And I was like, bet, I'm game.
Yeah.
I was like, just let them know I'm real short. And she laughed and she said, she doesn't think that'll be an issue.
Yeah.
And the relationship that I have with them to this day, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have taken care of me in the most amazing of ways. And I absolutely love and adore them. Shout out to the K-Take family. Shout out to y'all. And by extension, the Treat, because they also have a day spa.
Oh, where is that?
That is in Malabar. It is. They treated me for my birthday last year and it was so good.
Oh, hello. Okay, so places and people and things. I'm so happy that you're in a space now where, based on the things that you're doing and even your own mental health, it's just better.
Yes.
And I think it can only get better. And I pray that it only gets better.
And it hope that
it only gets better from here on up.
Of course.
Yes. Tshenelle, this has been fantastic.
It's been fun.
Right? Is there anything coming up for you that you'd like to share with our viewers that they should know about? Maybe on your blog or anything like that?
What is coming up? So the plan is to really get back into the website. The plan is to get back into my podcast. And because my podcast is audio only. It's on Spotify.
What's the name of it?
A Day in the Life of Nelly B.
A Day in the Life of Nelly B. So look for it.
Yeah, that is A Day in the Life of Nelly B is basically what I call my platform. Because literally all my socials is really about things that happen around me, to me, near me, and I share my thoughts. I believe that there's a teachable moment in so many of the mundane things that we
Yeah.
experience in life. And when that thought comes through, I like to share it.
I like that. Okay, great. Well, thank you again so much. So look out for her podcast, right? And we're gonna see what's happening with Tshenelle a day in the life of Nelly B, right? So thank you again, Tshenelle, so
Thanks
much
for
being
having
with
me.
us, right? As usual, this has been Chit Chat with Two Teas, right? Thank you again to SerendipiTea for having us. Guys, make sure and check it out. And we will see you the next time. Until then, take care. Bye.
Bye.
And see. All right.